Hey, good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I'll be taking you through the tackle trading website this evening. Let's see if I can get that website up and running here, get the show on the road. Welcome out everybody. Hope you had a great Monday coming in after a nice weekend. Markets picking right back up, oil popping. So let's dive right into it. I'll have the chat up here in our YouTube channel in just a moment. At least I'm hoping that is the case. And as we're moving along, feel free to ask any questions. I will do my best to answer them for you. Well, what we'll do tonight is we'll kind of come at it in we'll put it into thirds, right? We'll put it into our weekend reports, our live content that we're doing each market day, each week, and our tools and courses and things that you can kind of work through at your own pace, depending on where you are in the whole process of things. So that'll kind of be the way we come at it here this evening. Let's go ahead and let's start with the kind of things that you can do on your own. The courses, the blogs, the trade center, things of that nature. The first thing that comes to my mind for that stuff is courses, right? We do have several courses available to all of our pro members. We have our 7-step guide to trading, our technical analysis 101, options, futures, and Forex 101, as well as our system development 101. We also have a handful of premium systems in the Tackle 25, which is a covered call-based system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year. The STEP system, which is kind of our swing trading system, just standing for stop loss, target entry, and position size. Cash flow condors, which is another cash flow system on the Russell 2000, and the bear market survival guide, protecting our portfolio in bearish market conditions, as well as profiting in those conditions as well. These premium systems are the only thing that won't be available to our pro members. Everything else will be. These are kind of one-time purchases. The system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of that team in a mastermind group. Tonight, we have the bear market survival coming up here this evening with members of that team. If you want any more information on any of those premium systems, because we won't really focus on that here this evening, you can, of course, head over into the store tab. You can send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. You can hop into the clubhouse and ask folks that are using those systems what they think. So if you need a little more information, lots of ways that we can get that to you. Just let us know. Our 7-step guide to trading is free to everyone. This is kind of, I guess, the tackle trading way, if you will. It's kind of our approach to the markets, from taking that top-down approach, starting at the top of the market, into choosing our strategies, finding our trades, prepping those trades, placing and managing those trades, of course, journaling those trades. So it kind of just takes you through the process itself. If you're a new trader or pretty new to this stuff and don't really have a good routine down, this really can help you out on that side, I personally believe. If you're a vet, if you've been trading for a while, you probably already have a pretty good routine down. Maybe get some ideas that can maybe make it a little bit smoother, though, hopefully, as well. It's about a 2-hour course in total, so not a huge time commitment. And it's one of those courses, whether you're new or a grizzled vet, I think there's something to learn out of that. Of course, as traders, charting, technical analysis is the backbone for everything, right? No matter what you're trading cryptos, trading options, trading currencies, trading stocks, whatever it is you like to trade, we're traders. We use technical analysis to help us get in, to manage, to get out of trades. And the better we are at that, probably the smoother life goes, right? So it's kind of our game. Our game as traders. We really look to try to increase our timing, and that's exactly what we're doing in technical analysis. And technical analysis 101 will kind of take you through that process, help you get a better handle on reading those charts. There is also, over in the shows tab, you will find the Tackle 100 series live webinars, and in here, amongst other webinars, you will find the Technical Analysis 101 course that Coach Noah taught live for us a little while back. Same things that are going on over in that Technical Analysis 101 course, just coming at you a little bit different, in a webinar format. This is each one of these is a 2-parter. Each one is going to run around 2 hours, so it's going to be about 4 hours, give or take, to get through the whole thing. But the better we are and the more confident we are with our technical analysis, I think the better we're going to be, and the more decisive we're going to be in regards to our trading. So definitely feel free to check those out. And if you're a newer trader, that is where I always encourage people to start with the chart, and not to get too clever there. While we're in here, you'll also find a swing trading webinar that Coach Matt did for us a while back. Really good webinar, kind of taking you through, many of the concepts that you're going to discuss in that Tech 101 course, but kind of adding things like, okay, well, setting up entry points, setting up stop losses, setting target prices, those type of things, specifically from a swing trading point of view. There are also multiple step system webinars in here, as you can kind of see here. Again, that just is our swing trading system: stop, target, entry, and position size. If you feel like you're pretty comfortable with, maybe you've worked through the technical analysis webinar and course, maybe you've been trading a long time and you feel pretty confident in your charting skills. It can always get better, right? We all can, but maybe struggle on, developing some rules. Maybe this can be a place that can kind of get you started with that. So definitely worth checking out some of these step system webinars as well. Coming back into our courses, the Options 101 course is really going to focus on the option contract itself. Hey, what happens when you buy that call option? What happens when you sell that put option, right? What are the factors that are moving the price of that option, right? There's a lot of moving parts with options, and those are the things that we're really going to focus on as we get into that Options 101 course. It's going to be a lot more on options and not a ton on individual strategies. I'll show you here in a minute where you can find that information. For most traders, and again, there's not a right kind of trader, but for most traders, options, give them options, and that, is a place that a lot of traders tend to gravitate towards. If you have ever been interested in learning a little bit more about the futures and or the currency market, the Futures 101 or the Forex 101 course can be a great place to start to get you a little more comfortable with what's going on over in those markets. How do they move? What kind of things are we looking out for, right? They can be intimidating to some people. Because, for me, the futures felt like, even the name kind of scared me off in the beginning. But really it's just another market. And yes, there's things I need to know about it if I'm going to trade it, for sure. But, a lot of things, a trade's a trade, right? A breakout's a breakout, whether it's on, soybeans or a currency pair or Apple or whatever the case might be. So if you've ever been interested in either of those markets, but been a little bit, not sure where to start, or a little bit, intimidated by them, definitely think you'll feel a little bit better after working through those courses. No matter what, though, no matter what you decide that you'll want to trade, whether maybe you're primarily a currency trader or whatever, we all need to have very clear systems and rules dictating our actions, right? How do I get in? How do I get out? How do I manage? What are my rules, right? What is my system for this? Most of us get that. And I think everyone's kind of on the same page when we talk about how important that is. But it's one thing to say, another thing to do. A lot of us, for whatever reason, we aren't wired to default to think in terms of trading from a systems point of view. The great thing is, though, it's like a light switch. We just got to flip that switch on, and then I don't think you can flip it off even if you want to. So, I can't encourage you enough to take some time to go through the system development course. No matter, what you like to trade, I think you'll benefit tremendously from that course. Not everything has to be a course. Not everything has to be a webinar. Each week, we're going to do some blog content where there's more charting and Tales of Technician, more on options over in Option Theory, hearing from our awesome female team members in the Women in Trading blog, working with Coach Greg in the Rookie Corner and kind of taking concepts from the ground up and building from there. These are going to be relatively short reads, right? 5-6 minute type of reads, probably, depending on how fast you read, I suppose. But another way that we can share ideas with members of our team. So exactly, Kane, we are emotional, and all we can do is admit it, right? And work around, and it's our money on top of it, right? It's easy. It's, we're emotional anyway, but when it's our money, it's it's easy, very easy to get overly emotional, and that leads to, not particularly good things as a general rule, not how we want to trade. So that's going to be our blog content. Over in the Trade Center, you'll find a link to our trading glossary, a link to our trade journals, a link to our events calendar, which we'll probably hop to here before the night is done. But I want to start off with the tackle trading playbook because I brought up in the options course, we're really talking about the contracts and what's moving that contract. Well, we're using those contracts to create strategies, right? And there are a lot of different option strategies. Here in the tackle trading playbook, you will find our strategies and our rules for those strategies. We break it down into 3 areas: delta, theta, and vega. Delta is directional, right? When we trade stock, right? When I buy some Tesla or whatever, I'm trading delta, right? That's going to be buying call options. That's going to be doing ratio spreads. That's going to be doing traditional debit spreads. That's going to be doing diagonal spreads. D for direction or movement, right? What I think most of us when we first get into trading think about primarily, at least I know I did. Then theta, the cash flow side of things. The cool thing about options is we get to sell them, right? We don't, and when it comes to stock, I can either buy or sell, or I guess do nothing, right? But I can actually sell you a call option, and you can give me that money that you were going to pay for that, and I can put that in my pocket, right? Obviously, I'd want different things than you if we worked out that deal, but that's kind of the cool thing about options is we can sell them. That's going to include things like selling covered calls against shares that we own. Hey, I own 100 shares of company ABC. I'll rent them out to you. You give me enough money, I'll promise to sell them to you at a certain price within a certain time frame, right? So we've got covered calls. We've got naked puts. I know, hey, maybe you've been looking to get into that stock, but you really want it to get back down to $40 before you do. Well, hey, might as well get paid while you're waiting for it to get down to $40. So we're going to have our naked puts, our covered calls, our credit spreads, right? Our iron condors. These are where we're selling those options. We're bringing in that premium, and we're taking advantage of the one thing we all know for absolute certain, that tomorrow is going to come and go. I think I know what this stock's going to do tomorrow, but I don't know, right? I can never know, but I can guarantee you that Tuesday is going to come and go. Right. So taking advantage of selling those options and that time decay that is associated with them. So that's going to be the theta side of things. And then you're going to have the vega or the volatility side of things. These are going to be bidirectional trades that don't have a bias, right? Hey, I expect this stock to move a lot. These can be very popular during earnings seasons, for example, where you expect company XYZ to move a lot based off of its history. Maybe it usually has big gaps around its earnings, sometimes up, sometimes down. No way to know which one it's going to do, but maybe based off of its, history, good bet to think that it probably is going to happen. So that'd be things like, long straddles and strangles. Maybe the market expects the stock to move a lot more than you do. And you're saying, hey, listen, market, you're wrong. I'll sell that. So these are going to be volatility-based strategies on the Vega side of things. In any of these, we'll have the video kind of going over, hey, what is the strategy? Why would we do the strategy? How would we do the strategy? What are our rules? How much time am I buying or selling? What kind of delta am I looking for? Kind of taking you through the whole process from, why I would choose it to how I would do it and the rules for that strategy. That'll be in the video for all of them. There's also an easily accessible little PDF download, so you can have the rules right there at the click of a button. If you haven't got them all figured out just yet, certainly understandable. We will put everything somewhere between 0 and plus or minus 3. We always want to match the strategy to our read of the situation. So if I'm super bullish on a stock and you're just slightly bullish, you expect it to go up, but it's going to go up slow, but I think it's going to scream up the charts. Well, we both think it's going to go up, but we have different reads of the situation. Now, who knows who's right and who's wrong, right? Hopefully one of us is, so it'll be good shape either way. I'm going to probably choose a different strategy than you because of my read of the situation. So this 0 to 3 or minus 3 is kind of letting 0 being neutral, my words, -1 or +1 being slightly bullish or bearish, +2 or -2 being, normally or moderately bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 being very bearish or bullish. Kind of let you know where we see the strategy on that spectrum. Hey, if I'm super, if I expect a big move to the downside, probably looking for a +2 or -2 or -3. Whereas if I'm looking for a slow move to the upside, maybe a +1. So that's going to be kind of what you're seeing on these +1 to +3 and things of that nature. just so you can kind of see where we view those strategies on that side of the spectrum itself. So if you're new to options, don't make the mistake of trying to figure them all out at once. It's a noble undertaking, but it's very hard, if not impossible, to pull off. Work one at a time, right? The cool thing is when it comes to learning option strategies, you can always work on two at the same time, right? If you can work on, if you're brand new, you're learning how to buy calls, you can also learn to buy puts at the same time, right? If you're learning debit spreads, you can learn the bull call and the bear put at the same time. But don't make the mistake of trying to figure out all of them at once. It can get very confusing and kind of have to reset. I think many of us, present company included, made that mistake when they first got into options. If you go into the Trade Center itself, this will kind of bring you to a what's up at Tackle Trading page. What's our next show, most recent posts, most recent tweet, a little watch list if you want to build one into your Tackle Trading account. A live showing if we're live on YouTube, or a replay if we're not, of, typically it's the halftime report. Of course, we're live on a Monday night. So right now it's our webinar where you are, if you've, in the middle of any courses, so you can pick right back up where you left off. A little calendar for the next few days to kind of let you know where things are at. It's kind of a what's up page at Tackle Trading. If you do want to use this watch list function in here, all you'll need to do is put in your, just left click in the little ticker symbol area over here, add whatever it is you want to add. Maybe you're looking to add some US Steel to your watch list. Then you'll just select it. You'll left click it, and that'll highlight it blue there for you. Then we'll just hit this little plus button over here, and that will add that. Now, when I come back to this page, this will still be in my watch list. If I decide it's time to, Tesla, I've given you plenty of opportunities, you just haven't lined up the way I wanted you to, it's time to kick you out of my watch list, I'll just, again, left click on the ticker symbol itself to get it highlighted blue, hit that minus button, and that will get rid of it for me. So, obviously we're going to be doing our charting, on our software, our broker softwares or our charting platforms, but it's, for some people, it's nice to just have that, hey, just take a quick peek at my watch list when I'm, on Tackle Trading without having to log into Thinkorswim or whatever platform you might use. So that's how you would use that if you are interested. There's a link to our search function, which is also this little magnifying glass up here. If you're ever looking for something, that's a great place to start. We've got lots of content on all sorts of different subjects. Quick search can very likely find what you're looking for. If you can't find it, you can always ask us, never hesitate, but that can be an easy step to find things that you're looking for. Another link to our glossary, another link to a chart if for whatever reason you ever need one. You can, again, there's lots of ways to get charts, but there is a link in there, a link to our report, an economic calendar, so you can kind of see what the weekly schedule looks like on the economic report front, a link to a news aggregator that will kind of take you, kind of go through some of these bigger, financial sites, right? Wall Street Journal, Market Watch, CNBC, and just kind of get those headlines for us. And now I can just easily browse through and click what's interesting to me. So kind of handy, save you some clicks, having to bounce back and forth. The market Skyline is just going to be kind of a, the big stuff in the market, right? The indexes. Hey, how's the Dow, the S&P, the Russell, the NASDAQ, Bitcoin, the major commodities, gold, silver, copper, crude oil, right, et cetera. The sector ETFs, the sector spiders, if you're unfamiliar, these guys go into the S&P 500 and pull out just the stocks in that area. So, energy's been really hot lately, right? So XLE, for example, we go into the S&P 500, we pull out just the energy stocks, the stocks in that sector, put that group of stocks into a portfolio, and that's what we're looking at here. So these are isolated looks at, hey, this is what energy looks like lately. This is what utilities looks like lately, right? At least from a bullish point of view, I hope you've been enjoying that run in energy and not all tied up in utilities, right? Maybe today, notwithstanding, today, pretty good day in utilities for them, but pretty ugly looking chart. So these ETFs are great ways to track these different sectors. I think they're they're part of my routine. I can't imagine life without them. They also are ETFs, which means they're tradable. You can buy shares. These particular ETFs are optionable if you are interested. Maybe you like the energy sector, but none of the stocks stand out. You just want to trade the sector itself. Hey, it's nice to have that option, right? I use them as a, kind of a way to follow more than a tradable instrument, but that's just me personally. kind of use them as a guide, if you will. But all of these things are in here just to help us follow along with the market, right? What's going on? Where are we? Where's the strength? Where's the weakness? What's going on in the marketplace right now? There's also a heat map here that'll take you to a FinViz heat map. Just a quick visual. Hey, what did the day look like, right? Another rough day for the technology type of stocks, right? And the Googles and Facebooks and Amazons of the world. Another good day for finance, pretty good day for most of the other areas. So just a visual, like what did the day look like? And if you want to go in and take a closer look, you can. It's pretty handy. You can go in and say, okay, well, what's jumping out to me? And maybe nothing is, right? And when I look at this, it has to jump out to me, not the other way around. But hey, let's go look at some of these banks, right? So just an easy way to do that. Of course, this is a free FinViz unless you are a subscriber with them. So you will have to deal with a couple of ads, but that's okay. I think that's a small price to pay personally. So that heat map will take you over into that FinViz so you can get that visual. So just a lot of different trader tools over here in the Trade Center to save you some clicks. It's easy, so you don't have to bounce back and forth through 18 different websites. All right, 18 might be a stretch, but 5 probably isn't, right? Try to just save a little bit of time from that side of the equation. So that's going to be the Trade Center. Our Clubhouse is kind of our own personal social media. It's kind of where members of the team can ask questions, right? Hey, what's or bounce ideas around. Just hang out with other traders, right? If you're a trader, sometimes it can feel lonely because for most of us, our next door neighbor doesn't want to talk trading with us, right? Our coworker doesn't want to talk trading. Trading is one of those things. Either people want to talk it or they don't, and there's not a whole lot of middle ground. Clubhouse is another way for you to be able to interact with other traders. If you have some questions, if you want to bounce some ideas around, obviously a great place to be able to do that as well. So that's going to be the kind of things that you can do on your own side of things. Now let's talk a little bit about our schedule. We're going to be with our team each market day and in a lot of different ways. Let's start off with what we're doing every day. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we get together in our Traders Lounge. Go ahead and hop in here. And this is really designed for our team to come in and ask their questions, whatever that might mean, right? Maybe you're struggling with a particular strategy. Maybe you've got a great trade setup you want to get some other eyeballs on. Maybe your routine is a mess and you need some help. I mean, who knows, right, what our questions are going to be, but I'm pretty sure we're all going to have them from time to time. Our Traders Lounge is designed so we can sit down with our team every market morning for an hour and talk about what they need us to talk about. You're always welcome in there. Questions are always welcome in there. We don't typically record the Traders Lounge, but we will record what I would call snippets in there. So you can kind of see just some recent examples, contingent orders, dealing with reverse splits, right? Naked put return, calculating return on naked puts, right? So it's not a big deal for us to, clip a little bit of a snippet, if you will, right, and get it in here for our team to catch a little later. If your schedule is such that you can just never make it live to the lounge at 11 a.m. if you're at work or something at that time, and you need us to go over something, just let us know. We'll always do our best to accommodate you, get a little snippet in here for you. So if that's an issue on that you're having, just let us know. We'll do our best to handle that. Shortly after our Traders Lounge at 12:30, we come back over here to our YouTube channel where we do the halftime report, where we can look into the market. It's a live look into the market. We're about the halfway point of the trading day. Go through that daily routine. Hey, what's going on in the market today? How is it impacting our charts? How are these different components of the market looking, right? Oil versus, gold versus, Bitcoin versus the S&P 500, stocks in the news, really just kind of going through that routine, right? Just going through that daily routine. That is live on YouTube every market day at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Of course, being on YouTube, once the live stream is over, it'll immediately populate over to our channel. So every day that the market's open, you can expect that we'll be over here answering our team's questions in the lounge at 11, heading over to YouTube at 12:30 to go through the routine over in the Tackle Trading Halftime Report. So that's what we're going to be doing every single day. Then in the evening, we're going to do a lot of different things, right? I guess I'd probably call our flagship evening show is the Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Coaches Show. We're a couple days into the market at that point, right? Where we can do a quick market skyline or overview of, hey, where things at in the market, a couple days into it. But what it really allows us to do is take one of these many, many concepts in trading, right? And there are a bunch, whether it's, particular strategy. Hey, should I do a buying call, or should I do a bull call, or should I do a bull put, right? Or should I do a call ratio, right? Strategies, indicators, moving averages, RSIs, stochastics, portfolio design, daily routine, management, stop loss placement, entry techniques, right? A lot of things that we can talk about as traders. What the Coaches Show really allows us to do is take one of those many, many things and have an in-depth discussion on it. And that's what's so cool about it, because all of these things deserve a good long conversation, right? This allows us to do that. Definitely would encourage you to make time for that. That is live Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It is recorded and archived, so if that's an inconvenient time, if you want to go watch previous episodes on subjects you're interested in, whatever the case might be, you can always catch the replay. It will be right there in the archives. Then on Thursday night, again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our cash flow club. That's going to be much more narrowly focused specifically on those cash flow option strategies, right? Those covered calls, those condors, those credit spreads, those naked puts, those selling type of strategies, building and managing those type of strategies. So that's going to, whereas the Coaches Show has really a wide variety of topics. Yeah, we're going to settle in on one. We're going to have a good discussion on it. Not a lot of variance, right? We're really focused on those cash flow strategies over in the Cash Flow Club on Thursday nights. Again, live at 8:30 Eastern, but recorded and archived for you to, to fit it better into your schedule, to go watch previous, episodes on things that you need some help with or are interested in. All of that will be in directly in that link. So that's Tuesday and Thursday. Those are our primary evening shows. On Wednesdays, over here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar, where if you haven't had a chance to see it, a couple of the coaches will bring some trade setups to battle against one another, and Coach Mark will mediate and declare the victor. Just a fun way to be able to share setups and trade ideas with one another, right? Always never a bad way to get a trade idea. So hope to see you over there. That's Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on our YouTube channel. And again, being on YouTube, once the stream's over, it will automatically go to our page. Our Mind of a Trader is going to be a couple of different things. And the best way to illustrate that is to head over into our events calendar in the Trade Center. There's two of them that we do pretty much weekly. And that's going to be Coach Mark's At the Closing Bell on Fridays at 3 Eastern, about an hour before the market closes. Coach Mark will do his commodity report live, go through the technicals and the fundamentals and kind of the news around the world of the commodities, as well as just make some last minute decisions, bounce different ideas around with members of the team in there, take a look at people's trade setups, just another way to just hang out with some other traders, right? Bounce some ideas around. Easiest way to get into there, because there's a couple different Mind of a Traders, the easiest way to get into the one you're looking for is to come directly into this events calendar, and then just click on this, it'll get me the link. So that's going to be the Friday at the closing bell. And then on Sunday night, Coach Mark also does a weekend prep class. We've let the futures open for a couple of hours, right? And now based off of that futures movement, anything standing out going into the early part of the week. So another place just to be able to bounce ideas around, see what, talk about what you're seeing versus what some other traders are seeing, all of that fun stuff. And that's Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern typically. And again, you can get into any of our shows through here in the events calendar. Just click on the one that you are interested in joining. The Women in Trading Mastermind group, I obviously don't get to go to that one, but about once a month, we have an awesome team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading, and they get together about once a month, is what it seems like to me as someone who doesn't get to go in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. I know them. I don't exactly know what's going on in there because I don't get to join, but I do know our team. I know that they're working hard in there. I know they're having a good time in there. If you're a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, certainly would encourage you to, to either hop in or encourage them to hop in. We'll always kind of let you know. We'll make sure that we promote it, so when it is, but definitely worth checking out if you're a woman in trading, right? And we'll let, of course, the ladies have that one. I'm sure we fellas will understand. So that's going to be typically, it seems like it's typically about once a month towards the end of the month. And then, of course, on Monday nights, I will walk through tackle trading with people that are new to us or looking into us here as well, like we're doing right now. So that is kind of what the schedule looks like. The way I kind of think about it is the lounge, is for your questions, very specific to members of our team and specifically what you need and what you need right now, right? The halftime report is really where we can go through that daily routine of following the markets. And then our evening shows is really where we can do some teaching, right? We can, can take these concepts, we can build these concepts and kind of go from there. So yeah, tomorrow's always interesting, right, Darren? So I love the market for sure. And I like being a trader because I just kind of go with the flow. So that's going to be the schedule. Hopefully that it makes sense. And again, if you ever have any questions on that, the events calendar is a very easy way to make sure that you know when things are and how to get into them if you're looking to join. Then we have our weekend reports. On Fridays, as the market's winding down, the market's closing after the closing bell, we all get together as coaches, talk markets together, talk sectors together, commodities, trade setups that we're following going into the upcoming week. And out of that comes what we call as our scouting report meeting. Out of that comes our reports, our tackle newsletter, our stock, options, commodity, and Forex report. So we can always share ideas, share setups, do some stuff like that with members of our team. Our newsletter is kind of a look ahead to the market. If you've went through the 7-step guide to trading, or if you just noticed when we were talking about it, the first step is starting at the top of the market for us. That's a fundamental belief that we have here at Tackle Trading is to take that top-down approach. That's exactly what we're doing over here in the newsletter. Hey, what are what's moving the market right now? What's the storylines in the market right now? At least how do we see it right now? It feels like a stock picker's market. Like Darren said, tech has been, not all that great this last couple of weeks, but energy's been awesome. Finance has been awesome, right? And that'll at some point change, right? Those areas will, whether it's something major, just a short-term retracement, and people moving back into tech. That's a stock picker's market, right? That means you're going with you're trading into certain areas and not into others, right? And those areas will change as the days and weeks go by, for sure. So what's the storylines of the market? What's the economic calendar looking like? What are the big reports coming out this week? It'll be, and no problem, Monique, once the live stream is over, it'll go right over on the YouTube channel. And so as soon as our live stream is over, it'll just be right there. If you just go into videos, you can start at the beginning and then end where you just jumped in. So it won't be up. You can probably rewind it, and start fresh right now, but it will post automatically to the channel once the stream is over here in a little bit. So hopefully that answers that for you. The sector, the breakdown, right? We'll obviously talk you through this stuff and our read of the situation over in the newsletter. Where's the S&P? What are we seeing as far as support and resistance? The different index ETFs, right? DIA for the Dow Jones, QQQ for the NASDAQ, IWM. So see, there's, tech and, the techie stocks, right? Discretionary type stocks, just been a rough go, right? But the Dow, it's been pretty strong, right? So again, that's why you always want to follow along with the story, because the market's going to move how it's going to move, not how I want it to, right? So the Qs follow the NASDAQ, IWM follows the Russell 2000, SPY follows of course, S&P 500, the Arkham High-Low. This is Coach Gino's indicator that kind of looks at the internals of the market. It looks at over 8,000 stocks to kind of see who's putting in new highs, new 3-month highs versus who's putting in new 3-month lows. So often when we look at things like the S&P 500 or even some of those sector spider ETFs, because of the way things are weighted, right, we don't necessarily get a clear view of the situation, right? If all you knew was the S&P 500, you wouldn't necessarily expect that energy and finance and to a lesser extent maybe industrials have had such great runs as of late, right? And that's in part because the S&P 500's at the top, the heavily weighted top is things like Apple and Google and Facebook and Amazon, things that have been over in that, area that's kind of got hit a little bit as of late. So what this Arkham High Low is really doing is looking at the internals of the market, not just the top of the market, if you will, to kind of get an idea of what the internals look like. The seasonality index, hey, what typically happens this time of year from a historical point of view? Obviously, we don't want to overvalue that just because it's historical, that it tends to have a pretty good run up as we get into mid-March, right into the early part of the summer before going sideways. That's typically what happens. It doesn't mean it's going to happen this year, right? But it's also important to know that what we tend to do from a historical point of view, the seasonality on the sectors, historically speaking, again, what areas tend to be the strongest during this month, which ones tend to lag behind a little bit this month. Again, don't want to overvalue that by any means, but certainly not bad information to know. Our ranking of the sectors, each week we rank the sectors. And again, we'll talk you through this stuff over in that video, of course, but we rank the sectors on a football field as you can kind of see here. Basically, are we liking a little bit more than we did last week, a little bit less? Is it in bullish or bearish territory? Kind of our read of the sectors from going through the different components within those sectors. Again, there's another list of the sector spider ETFs in here. Again, just like our option strategies, we kind of have that 0, 1, 2, 3. Unlike option strategies that I could easily have a plus or a -3 read of Tesla, of GameStop, of whatever the stock might be, it's very rare that we're going to be a plus or a -3 on a whole area of the market here at Tackle Trading. We're not really, just honestly, we're just not that extreme, for better or worse. It might happen once in a blue moon, but it is pretty abnormal that it does. So usually when we're talking about, a particular sector, it's going to be, moving down the football field, right? Pushing towards the towards the end zone. And just give you a little bit more idea on that side of things. A little bit of a rundown of that market cap. We talked a little bit about it. We won't rehash that side of things. There's also a pre-built scanner in here. So if a particular area has caught your attention, if you're liking technology, if you're liking this pullback and just waiting, if you like this, breakout that we saw in industrials, if you like the strength that we've seen in energy, or just a quick, hop over into, we'll just go into energy since we talked about it earlier, just hop over there. This will bring you to a pre-built FinViz scanner. This is what I call, these are what I call trader friendly stocks. And all I mean by that is they have great liquidity. So it's very easy to trade shares in all of these candidates. They're all optionable. Of course, that doesn't mean their options are great. As a general rule, they're pretty easy. The group is fairly easy to trade options on, but you never want to get stuck in an illiquid option, right? If you've ever been stuck, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm glad, and don't do it, would be my advice. Getting stuck in illiquid options is not a whole lot of fun, but these are optionable. We can always go check the options, right? See if we're comfortable, with what we're seeing. If not, shares are always going to be an option. So that's what I mean by trader friendly. And obviously, this isn't going to be every energy stock listed, but a very quick, easy way for us to kind of do a browse to see if anything kind of stands out. Hey, I really kind of like the way this looks, right? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but if you just click on it, brings you up a little bit of a bigger chart over here on FinViz. When you're looking at them from a bird's eye view, right, sometimes they look a little bit better from afar, right? At least I think so. So can give you a little bit of a bigger picture. If you still like what you see, I mean, obviously I wouldn't try to build a trade off of this little chart, but I can get an idea of whether I like it enough to go actually, take a look at it in my own charting platform. Back to screener will take you right back to that page where we were just at. So if any of these particular areas, catches your attention and you just don't know a lot of stocks in that area, want to just do a quick run through the sector or a group of stocks in the sector that are, fairly easy to trade from a liquidity point of view, easy way to do that. So that's going to be the newsletter, where you can really kind of work through that top-down approach, right? And then, we've got our stock, options, commodity, and Forex report. As I pointed out earlier, Coach Mark does our commodity report. He does that live in his Mind of a Trader's on Friday, at the closing bell. Of course, it'll be recorded and said in here, if you can't join him, we certainly understand that. Just work and talk about, hey, what's going on in the world of commodities, right? What's the fundamentals looking like? What are the trends looking like? What are the technicals looking like? Reports looking like? All of that fun stuff. Coach Cody typically does our Forex report for us, where you can highlight, hey, what's going on in the world of currencies, particularly the major pairs. He also does a lot of teaching about Forex in that Forex report. So you'll learn a lot about, trading the currencies if that's something that you're interested in the Forex report. He does a really good job explaining that world to members of the team, I believe. Then the stock and option report are going to be built fairly similar to one another. And what I mean from that, they'll come into the stock report, is we're looking for some quality trade setups, right? Each and every week, we all are as traders, right? The stock report is going to be coming at it more from a stock point of view, right? As the name would suggest, no surprises there. It might be because of its low price. It might be because the option liquidity isn't great, and we wouldn't feel comfortable trading options on it. Obviously, you can always go check and see if you would. Right? There's no shame in checking. And if it's something you're comfortable with, great. And if not, we can always trade the equity. It's a great thing about, especially for us in the States, so many places now have the $0 commissions on stock and ETF, right? So we can, take smaller positions if that's what we need to do. Whereas, in days gone by, we had to pay that darn commission, right? So, but long story short, the stock report, you can always, it is coming at it from a stock point of view. But if there is a candidate in here you like, you can always go check the options. And if you'd be comfortable building a trade around options, there's nothing wrong with that as well. But there's just going to be watch list candidates coming into the upcoming week. Again, we'll of course have a video going through this stuff with you. What I really like about the stock report myself is it's because we're coming at it from a stock point of view, and kind of our default setting is stock, right? If you will, we think in stock terms. If I buy at 27 and sell at 30, we all know exactly what that means without getting too crazy, right? So we can really focus specifically and exclusively on the patterns, the setups. Hey, why is this here? What are some entry ideas? What are some targeting ideas? What are some stop loss ideas, right? So it allows us to highlight some what we think are some attractive trade setups coming into the upcoming week in the market. We can do a little bit of teaching in there as well. Always will do that. We'll always take that opportunity to talk a little bit about things, whether it's managing stops or setting entries or whatever it might be. But really, it's put together so you have some trade candidates each and every week going into the market. We'll always try to have both a bullish and a bearish watch list, no matter what the market's doing. We're traders, we go with the flow, right? But we always want to have at least a couple candidates on both sides because you never know for sure what's going to happen. While we're in here, well, before we do this, the option report's going to be built very similar. Kind of on the other end of it, though, we're not just going to talk about the technicals. We're going to talk about strategy selection as well. Right. This might be an attractive situation for a poor boy covered call. This might make sense with these option premiums to do some selling, or maybe to do some buying, or maybe we'll start with a long call and look to convert it into a spread. So it allows us to talk about strategy selection as well as the technicals. It's in there for the technical reasons, right? But okay, now that it's here, now I'm interested in trading it. How would I trade it? Everything in the option report is going to be very liquid on the stock side of things. So if there's something in the option report that you want to trade stock on, that's not ever going to be a problem, right? You can always choose to go that route. That's kind of how it'll maybe differ a little bit from the stock report itself. But from a watch list point of view, it's going to be very, very similar, right? As far as, what's in here, why is it in here? We can kind of talk you through that in the video itself. If something has caught your attention, right? Say you like SLB, for example, Schlumberger, and something maybe you want to take a closer look at, and you're doing it here, on these trading view charts and tackle trading. Just show you a couple things in here. This widget button right here will just hide the watch list. Hit it again, it'll bring it back. So you have a little more room to work with on your chart. Your trend line tool is going to be this one right here, where you can draw, trend lines. So whether it's a horizontal level, or an actual trend line. That one I know doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll just go with it. If I don't need it, I can just left click it and hit this little trash bin button. It'll get rid of that for me. So that's how you can add some lines to it. Your Indicators are right here. As you can see, this will not save your indicator. So if I go in and say, and this is typically all I do is go in and put the ATR, the average true range, and then I'll just close out of it. If I leave this page and come back, this is going to be gone. So you don't want to get too nutty, I don't think. Or if you do, at least know that if you add 7 indicators, when you come back, they're going to be gone. At least on that side of things. If you need or want to scrunch it down, you can just hover your mouse between the wall between the volume bar and the end of the box for the indicator that you use, and you can scrunch it down. Like I don't need to see how big the ATR is. I'm just looking for the number in that, in that capacity. So you can add your indicators in there. The default is set from a daily perspective, but if you wanted to maybe go intraday to see if you could find an entry you liked on the 30-minute chart or the hourly chart, you can do that pretty easily. Your tool right here, this is the one that I like. This saves me so much time. This is where we can prep either a long or a short position. So this is a little breakout here on SLB. So we're not going to get too crazy here, but let's just say I like SLB. I want to come in, a little bit above today's high. That's where my entry would be. I've got a target in mind at 32.50. We'll say 32.60 since that's where I got my drawing there on SLB. I'd get my stop loss, a little bit below today's low, right? And I can kind of get a visual of what that looks like. Hey, this is risking $1 to get $1.57. So as a swing trader, if that's my first target, that's probably great. If that's my second target, I have the rule, like many swing traders have the at least 2 to 1 risk reward ratio. Every dollar I'm risking, I want to have a, reason to believe I can get 2 back in return. So it lets me know, hey, if that's where I think the target is, the risk reward's not here for me, right? But if my target price is say 34, right? Well, that changes things. Or maybe that's what your target price is. So just going to do the quick math for us. Let us know what our risk to reward looks like. Saves a lot of time as you're building out your trade, or at least it saves me a lot of time. Don't have to do a lot of math on the fly. Obviously, there will be the bearish side of it as well. So say you wanted to create a short position, and just go with these guys since they're the first one here. Same thing, right? We can do that. You can just hold your left mouse button down. That's how I'm wiggling it around like this, so you can kind of zoom it around so you can see it the way you want to. But you can kind of do the same thing just to prep out your trades really quickly if you would like to do so. And again, we'll have the video kind of talking you through all of this stuff. You can expect all of these reports to be to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to get through any or all of them before the market opens back up. Don't be afraid to prioritize. Like I said a couple times, we take that top-down approach. So we kind of start with the newsletter philosophically, and then, if you're a currency trader, you're probably hitting the Forex report. I'm an equity trader. I tend to gravitate primarily to the stock and the option report. Doesn't make me anything other than me, right? But don't be afraid to prioritize going through this stuff because it can be very easy to do a lot and not get anything done, which is of course always really frustrating. So that's going to be the report. You can, like I said, expect these every week by Saturday afternoon, so you have time to get through any or all of them. As we're wrapping up here, just a couple of other quick things. Our Tackle Today email, if you would like to get it and don't, you can just go into Tackle Today and sign up for the daily email in there very quickly. You can also read it in here. It'll be faster to your inbox, but it will be posted directly here in the Tackle Today as well. The huddle is just a quick top 5 things, stories going into the market each morning. Definitely just what's the big stuff going into the into this trading day. You will also find the Trading Justice podcast over on tradingjustice.com. I'm sure many of you know Matt and Tim and Mark, or have seen them caught their seen them in the halftime report, or listened to the podcast before. Each week they do the Trading Justice podcast. Always a lot of fun, always a really great listen. You can find the Trading Justice podcast on any of the major providers. You can also listen to it over on tradingjustice.com, which is what I do. There's also a really nice monthly newsletter over on tradingjustice.com that's definitely worth checking out each month as well. So if you are looking for the podcast or the newsletter, it's again tradingjustice.com. We'll get you that information. We're active on all of the major social media platforms, right? We talked about our Clubhouse, which is kind of our own personal thing, but you can find us on obviously YouTube. In addition to our live streams, we've got a lot of how-tos, what-ares, walkthrough examples on our YouTube channel. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Have a Facebook group if you are a Facebook user and want to talk some trading. Twitter. I'm the Twitter guy. Where can share some information, share some chart setups and things like that. So if you're using any of these platforms, I certainly invite you to join us and I would love to have you with us. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate. Send us an email, team@tackletrading.com. We're here to help. So, never hesitate. If you need something, reach out and let somebody know. There's lots of ways to do that, whether it's the lounge, the clubhouse, in one of our shows, sending an email, lots of ways to reach out. And there's never any shame in asking for some help if you need it. We'll certainly invite you to join us as over wherever is. We certainly you'll probably never see me on Facebook. I just can't do it. But I don't mind Twitter. So if you're a Twitter user, I'll probably see you over there. That's kind of how I think about it. Just another way to connect with traders. I think that's everything I wanted to cover with you this evening, but I do want to thank everyone for their time who caught it live. Thank those of you who caught the recording. I hope it explained tackle trading to you. Got you let you know a little bit more about what we're about, when we're doing things, why we do them. So hopefully it was a little bit helpful for you. I certainly look forward to seeing you again, whether it's on YouTube again, on Twitter, in the clubhouse, and another one of the shows. I'm sure we will see each other again, and I'll look very much forward to that. Welcome to Tackle Trading. It's great to have you with us. If you haven't had a chance to, you can, of course, always, there's always a standing offer for a free 15-day trial. If you want to take a closer look at the back end stuff, what's going on in those reports, all of that fun stuff, it'll be posted here at the bottom of the video. It's at the bottom of every one of our YouTube videos, so we can get you set up with a trial. If you need one, just let us know. Be happy to do that for you. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for tonight, but thank you for your time. Thank you for hanging out with me. Have a great week, both in and out of the market. Welcome to Tackle Trading. If you need anything, holler. I'm not a hard dude to find, and I'm always happy to talk trading with people. So don't be a stranger. Get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I will see you all, I'm sure, again very, very soon, one way or another. Thank you, everyone, and good night. And you are very welcome, everyone. It was my pleasure. Thank you. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys and gals again somewhere in the really, really near future. If nothing else, you'll probably see me on Friday in the halftime report. So thanks, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you soon.